monsters among us. The wind howled outside my threadbare apartment in Pine Hollow, Idaho, rattling the single-pane windows. I sat cross-legged on the floor, wrapped in every sweater I owned, clipping coupons for a dinner that might stretch to tomorrow. My bank account was a barren wasteland, every dollar already claimed by rent and a barely functional phone bill. Bread was a distant dream. My resume, a patchwork of odd jobs, couldn't hide the truth. I was a high school dropout with no marketable skills, unless you counted my 2 years as a monster hunter. Try explaining that in a job interview without sounding delusional. I was one bad day from losing everything. Without work, I'd be on the streets or starving. My phone pinged, a notification I'd been dodging for weeks. I'd sworn off contract hunting, but the emails kept coming. Offers for jobs no sane person would touch. The reality was brutal. If I didn't act, I wouldn't survive the month. Hunting wasn't heroic, it was a gamble. Some creatures were docile, low risk for low pay, but the line between harmless and deadly was razor thin. I'd heard of hunters expecting a simple relocation job only to be torn apart by something far worse. Starve in my apartment or fall in the field? Neither sounded appealing. I caved, scrolling through the listings. I'd sold my old gear, enchanted blades, protective charms, to stay afloat. My debts loomed like a storm cloud, and most jobs required partners or equipment I no longer had. One listing stopped me cold. Pale, humanoid figures lurking in Clearwater Forest, tied to vanished campers. Rumors pointed to fungal entities, mimics that could pass for human but spread lethal spores on contact. The job suggested these were different, less deadly. A slim chance, but enough. With a heavy heart, I emailed my acceptance, half convinced I'd never return. Hours later, I stood at the Clearwater Forest trailhead, a rented pack digging into my shoulders. The corporation, the shadowy group behind these jobs, loaned gear, free if returned intact. Monster hunts, though, always broke something, and repairs would gut my pay. I'd rented a silver-tipped hatchet, less conspicuous than a sword for a hiker. Guns were near useless against creatures. Magic didn't bond with bullets like it did with blades. Blessed weapons hit harder, but specialty rounds cost more than a small house. Hatchet it was. The job directed me to the last attacked campsite. My legs burned as I hiked, sweat soaking my borrowed jacket. 2 years of inactivity had softened me. Old injuries flared in the cold, my joints creaking like a haunted house. I stretched, pushing through the pain, racing the setting sun. The pack held snacks and canned food, a small mercy. Pausing for a protein bar, I realized I was lost. The trail markers gone. I hesitated to use my sight so early. It wouldn't guide me out, but it could pinpoint the creatures. Closing my eyes, I focused, then opened them to a world ablaze with colors and lights invisible to most. Humans weren't meant to see magic. It was like glimpsing a spectrum beyond our biology, a mantis shrimp's fever dream. The strain clawed at my skull, a migraine blooming instantly. I used the sight to gauge a creature's power, but scanning the forest's magical currents was torture. Seconds later, I shut it off, head pounding, but I'd spotted a glowing cluster. Living things carried a spark of magic. Supernatural ones blazed. A mass meant a horde, or something colossal. I hurried toward it, praying for weaker foes. Veering off trail, I considered another glance with my sight, but pressed on, reaching a rocky ridge. A narrow cave mouth yawned, perfect for light-averse creatures. With dusk approaching, I assumed they'd be dormant. Call me paranoid, but I'd rather face them asleep. The light suggested either a swarm of weaklings or one titan. A single powerful creature would laugh at my hatchet, even in slumber. I ditched my pack, taking only the hatchet and a water bottle clipped to my belt. My phone, buried under layers, was useless for a quick call. The corporation had resources but lacked manpower. Once inside, I was on my own. I could have walked away. Reporting a den's location paid a pittance, enough for a week's groceries. But my debts demanded more, so I crept forward. My penlight revealed a cramped cave, the floor crunching with small bones. Rabbits, birds, maybe worse. Past the entrance, it widened, another passage plunging deeper. The bone-strewn ground screamed danger, but I inched on, hunching through a tight tunnel, my breaths loud in the silence. The passage opened into a vast chamber. Water dripped, mingling with faint rhythmic breathing. The air stank of rot and damp fur. My light swept the space, catching movement, not bones, but pale, writhing shapes. Glowing white eyes snapped open, multiplying like stars. I gripped my hatchet as one lunged, clinging to my back. I slammed it against the wall, hearing a crack. Spinning, I cleaved its skull. These weren't flesh, but animated bones, beast-shaped. Alarm bells rang. Only potent magic could puppet the dead. I hacked the ground, shattering a few, but more surged from the shadows, claws scraping stone. The exit was soon blocked by a writhing mass. Fear choked me, my pulse drowning out sound. Another creature leapt, and I barely deflected it. No matter how many I broke, the bones reassembled, relentless. Risking my sight, I saw the truth. A massive light at the cave's rear, tethered to smaller ones by threads. Each shattered creature drew from this source to reform, barely denting its power. Pain forced my sight off, and I slumped against the wall, cursing my choice. I was trapped, join the bone-horde, or fall. But I clung to hope, swinging until my arms screamed. Claws raked my legs, shallow but stinging. My chest burned, legs trembled, but I'd faced worse. Giving up wasn't me. Just as despair crept in, a blinding flash scattered the creatures. As my eyes adjusted, I saw the source. A colossal half-skeleton, human-like, propped against the back wall. Its eye sockets glowed white, arms stretching across the chamber. I dodged a swipe, rolling toward the figure who'd unleashed the light. My jaw dropped. "Silas!" I gasped. He blinked, auburn curls tied back, his rumpled suit oddly comforting. "Small world," he grinned, dimples flashing. I'd hoped for any hunter but him. Silas wasn't human, with a taste for brains. One misstep, and I'd be his next meal. "Your hatchet's clunky. Try this." He tossed me a kid-sized aluminum bat, light but humming with magic. I dropped the hatchet to catch it. A bone creature lunged, and I swung, shattering it into dust. The bat overloaded its target with magic. Too much, and creatures burst. "Handle the small fry. I've got the big one," Silas yelled, scrambling toward the skeleton. Splitting the pay beat, not surviving. I swung the bat, but its charge needed 3 seconds to reset. I grabbed the hatchet as backup. Focused on the horde, I missed Silas flying across the cave, crashing into stone. My sight showed his magic drained, tethered to the skeleton. It ignored my faint human spark, but Silas was tapped out. The bat couldn't dent the skeleton, and my strength couldn't wield the hatchet effectively. I needed more magic. Dodging another swipe, I focused on the threads linking the skeleton to its minions. Grabbing pure magic burned, even for monsters. My hands blistered as I gathered threads, claws tearing my legs. Fear was as raw as my first hunt. I leapt onto the skeleton's arm, racing toward its core. It swiped, but I rolled to the ground, dodging. Before its ribs, I thrust the threads forward, pulling the horde's magic. Uncontrolled magic rebounds. I surged it back to the skeleton. A blinding flash erased sound and sight. I thought I was gone. When I stirred, bone fragments littered the cave, no skull intact. Silas, dusted in white, gave a thumbs up, clueless but relieved. "Crash at my place to clean up?" he offered. Every inch ached. I almost refused, but his bathroom might have a tub, unlike my shower. "Only if you don't eat me," I groaned. "Self-defense. You swung first," he smirked. We reported the job done. A clean-up crew was coming, and payment was pending. With 2 hunters, we split the reward. I needed every cent, but Silas's light show saved me. Fair's fair. His portal led to a cozy house, unexpected for a monster. Too battered to notice details, I scrubbed off blood and dust in his tub, the hot water stinging but soothing. Silas left me a hoodie and joggers, slightly big but clean. Heading downstairs, I tripped over a plastic dinosaur. Puzzled, I set it aside, then froze in the kitchen. Silas fumbled with fish sticks, and at the table, colouring quietly, was Mira, a girl we'd saved months ago. I pulled him aside. "Why's she here?" "Thought you knew," he said. "Why else am I burning out?" He looked haggard. The skeleton should have been easy, but he was spent. Fostering Mira explained it. Money was tight. "Why'd they let you keep her?" I asked. "You eat one brain, and you're the bad guy," he chuckled, then sobered. "Her mom's gone. Family's not ready. I'm all she's got." "Your name," he said, pivoting. "Never got it. I'd thought we'd never meet again." He'd earned it. "Elliot." "Elliot," he teased. "I'm a monster, sure." "Her mum sold her for a hit. I'm no saint, but she's safe." His eyes softened, gazing at Mira. Doubting his care was impossible. "Stay for dinner." Silas was once a cleanup tool. Now, he was a foster dad, tethered by choice. I cooked the fish sticks so he could colour with Mira. She was shy but sweet, writing Mira on a drawing. After coaxing, she scribbled my name repeatedly. Silas didn't eat, packing me leftovers. Mira went to bed, and he offered a portal home. Wary, I chose a gas station drop-off. Exhausted, I hobbled home, hiding wounds. A doctor wasn't in the budget. Sleep would do. Unpacking leftovers, I found Mira's drawing, my face crudely drawn. Before crashing, I checked my phone. Payment was processing, and Silas had texted, checking if I'd keeled over. He'd swiped my number. I sent a scowl emoji, annoyed but amused. Hunting with a monster might ease the load, but I swore I'd go solo next time. Huddled under blankets in my Blackthorn, Montana apartment, I shivered, unable to afford heat. My last job covered rent, but left my left hand numb for days, only regaining feeling as cuts healed. The cold didn't help. Starving or falling to a monster's claws? Each day was a grim choice. I hadn't eaten properly in weeks. Job boards offered nothing for a dropout like me. Desperate, I opened my email for a low-risk contract. I'd dreamed of escaping hunting for a normal life. 2 years of scraping by hadn't dented my debts, proving normal was a lie. One job stood out: critters vanishing near a Redstone Valley quarry. Scout, snap-proof, report back. Bonus for neutralizing the creature. Quick cash for photos? I could do that. But as I sent the acceptance, dread settled in. Nothing was ever simple. The corporation portaled me to the quarry's edge, sparing a trek. Magic was a marvel. Humans couldn't wield it like creatures. My last pay bought a thick coat and boots, but I couldn't afford an enchanted orb. A flashlight sufficed. Expecting no civilians, I rented a kukri knife, sharp, less obvious than a sword. After the cave fiasco, another dark hole wasn't thrilling. A chilly wind pushed me into the quarry's mouth. If lucky, I'd grab evidence and bolt. I wasn't an elite agent. Big threats were their domain. The air inside was warm, heavy with silence. My hand hovered near the kukri, flashlight sweeping stone walls. No life in the first yards, just my boots' echoes. A partner would have eased the tension, but I was alone, footsteps deafening. My legs wobbled, malnutrition hitting hard. I needed food to keep this up. A tunnel split made me pause, listening. Water trickled left. Creatures needed water, so I followed, sweat beading from nerves. The path opened into a vast chamber, my light too weak to pierce the dark. Deep gouges scarred the floor, 4 thin, claw-like marks. No blood, but smudged dirt suggested something heavy was dragged deeper. No tracks revealed the culprit. A pebble clattered, snapping my focus. My flashlight darted, catching another stone rolling to my feet. Too late, I looked up. 8 glinting eyes met my beam. My hand flew to the kukri, but the creature dropped, fangs sinking into my shoulder. My body seized, voice trapped. I memorized the beast, a spider as big as a truck, its patterns vivid. As my lids froze, I shut them. Thick webbing encased me, the creature spinning me like thread. My stomach lurched as it dragged me deeper, scraping across rough stone. After an eternity, I was hoisted up, webbing pinning me to a wall. My face was spared, likely to keep me fresh. My shoulder throbbed, venom burning. I recognized the creature. Some supernatural spiders hid among normal broods, growing massive before escaping to hunt. Their venom was mild to humans, wearing off in an hour. Still, those legs could crush me. As feeling returned to my fingers, I tested the webbing. A faint glow caught my eye, not my flashlight, but another, casting shadows. The chamber was a larder, smaller webbed bundles, dead animals, dotting the walls. Above, a larger bundle showed shoes. I wasn't alone. Wriggling loosened the webs, a mistake. They gave way, and I plummeted headfirst. A strand snagged my ankles, jerking me upright. I spun, swallowing a scream. Another bundle tore free, caught by its thread. Expecting the spider, I gasped at a familiar face. "Small world," we said, voices echoing. Hanging upside down, I faced Silas. "How's Mira?" I asked as we spun. "Thriving. She's got a preschool buddy." His grin clashed with our predicament. Silence fell. Silas could shred these webs, but how was he caught? His gaunt face and shadowed eyes screamed exhaustion. "Why are you here?" I asked. "Piling jobs. Mira's into drawing, maybe an artist someday." "Saving for college?" I blurted, stunned. His smile softened. Mira's birth family neglected her, but Silas planned her future. A brain-eating monster outparented most humans I knew. "College or whatever she wants," he said. "Art supplies aren't cheap." I nodded, straining against the webbing. My kukri was out of reach. Escaping could take hours, and the spider might get hungry. "You a virgin?" Silas asked. I froze. His face split, revealing black eyes and a needle-tipped tongue stretching toward me. I yelled, jerking back, "Retract that thing!" The tongue waggled. Virgin blood supercharged creatures, and Silas asking meant he was weak. "Do I look like one?" I snapped. His pause was rude. "Not my business," I added. He sighed, hoping for a boost. With a grunt, he slashed our webbing, letting me drop hard, tearing my coat. "This was new," I grumbled. He shrugged. I trailed him, weighing options. Leaving paid nothing, not even for a coat. Silas could guide me out, but he wouldn't ditch a job. He needed cash. "Let's bail," he said, surprising me. I stopped. The spider wasn't tough. He outmatched it. Why quit? To save me? Doubtful. He'd probably eat me if I fell. Before I could ask, the spider dropped, scattering us. I drew my kukri, body sluggish. I parried a leg, but alone, I'd have been done. Silas was a blessing, for once. In the dim light, his face showed fear, not just exhaustion. I cursed my stupidity. Silas, part insect, dreaded spiders instinctively. Stronger or not, terror paralyzed him. "Silas, you can take it!" I shouted. His whimper confirmed he knew he could win but couldn't act. I could flee. Let the spider have him. No pay, though. My kukri only deflected legs, useless for damage. My only ally was frozen, as scared as I was. Silas's calm smile signaled I could run. Idiot. Who'd raise Mira? Not me. I could barely feed myself. Instead of bolting, I charged Silas, plunging the kukri into his gut. It sank easily. "Ow!" he howled, more insulted than hurt. The shallow wound wouldn't finish him. I slid under the spider, rocks shredding my skin. Creatures near collapse go feral, attacking anything to heal. The spider was his target. Silas, claws out, scrambled up a leg, face splitting. He tore into the spider's head, purple blood spraying. The creature thrashed, unable to shake him. I pressed against the wall, almost pitying it. The crunching turned my stomach. Why did I always hear Silas eat? When he finished, he stalked toward me, blood wiped off, revitalized. My stab had healed. "That hurt," he snapped. "Self-defense," I mumbled. Liar! He punched my shoulder, lighter than I deserved. He offered a deal. Cook for Mira, and he'd forgive the stabbing. I agreed, craving his bathroom. We reported the spider neutralized, but noted another might lurk. Seeing funds hit my account dulled the pain. I outcooked Silas, who relied on takeout. Mira deserved better. I urged him to learn, but his job load left no time. Mira was blossoming, making eye contact, saving smiles for Silas. As I left, Mira hugged my leg. "Bye, Uncle," she whispered, then fled, shy. My heart swelled, but Silas's grin soured it. Our encounters were a pattern, and I dreaded being tethered to him. I wanted quick jobs, but hunting had claws, sinking deeper each time. Monster hunting wrecked body and wardrobe. In Cedar Vale, Wyoming, I lived lean, my life in 2 boxes, chasing cheap rent. My new coat was shredded, so I patched my old one for hunts and dreamed of a fresh jacket for normal days. A new coat was a small victory. A high-end shop was closing, slashing prices. Sleet and wind kept Cedar Vale indoors, but I braved the storm. The store was deserted. Only a bored cashier, a woman in oversized sunglasses and a green scarf browsing hoodies, and a man in a dark overcoat by the entrance, staring into the gale. The racks were full, untouched by bargain hunters. I could afford a jacket and maybe a hoodie. Near the scarf woman, I felt her stare as she grabbed another hoodie. Her squinting gaze through dark glasses felt familiar, but her half-hidden face didn't click. I shrugged it off, browsing. She ended up behind me at checkout, silent, her stare likely curiosity. I wanted a simple day. Buy clothes, cook, sleep early. No luck. A figure slunk in, collar up, face shadowed. No one noticed until the cashier opened the register. "Phones and wallets now," he barked, gun raised. After bone-hordes and giant spiders, a gun barely fazed me. I sighed, annoyed about losing coat money. The cashier froze, eyes wide. The scarf woman stiffened. I kept my hands up, avoiding trouble. If he wanted my lint, he could have it. Thunder rumbled, rain pounding the windows. The overcoat man moved silently behind the gunman. "That's enough," he said, raising a hand. The gunman froze, panic in his eyes, trapped by invisible force. My gut twisted. This wasn't just a robbery. 2 figures burst in, soaked. One panted, blood streaking from facial gashes, clothes torn like he'd fought a bear. His companion was no dog, a grey-skinned, lizard-like creature with slitted eyes and a stubby tail, a black tattoo circling its neck. The cashier screamed, bolting. A shot rang near her head, and she froze. The scarf woman shielded her, a human reaction to a supernatural threat. "A hunter got me," the bleeding man gasped. "We need to move." What were the odds? A botched robbery, now this? All I wanted was a coat. "You've made a mess," the overcoat man said, adjusting his fedora. "Lucky for us, you can heal with one of these 4. He was the leader, voice calm but commanding, freezing the gunman with magic. Running risked a bullet. Staying meant becoming food. His yellow eyes locked on me. "You're awfully calm," he said, suspicious. If he pegged me as a hunter, I was done. "You're a cop. Do something," the scarf woman said, her voice familiar but elusive, painting me as composed, not a threat. Most cops handled minor creatures, but supernatural fights needed specialized skills. The leader didn't care about his wounded ally, just convenience. The lizard was leashed, attacking on command. They wanted us alive for a fresh meal, delaying gunfire or the creature's claws. I worried for the women, needing to draw focus to give them a chance. 3 against 1 wasn't ideal. Early advice echoed. Fear monsters, but don't let fear win. Your mind's your weapon. Stay upright. "I don't want to go out a virgin," I muttered, loud enough. I wasn't, but they didn't know. Virgin blood was a supernatural boost, and the injured man bought it, morphing lizard-like and charging. Weak, he was sloppy. I dodged, swinging a belt rack into him. He crumpled. The fedora man lunged, claws out, eyes amused. I grabbed a scarf, spinning aside, heart pounding. The women's safety hung on me. I looped the scarf around his neck, yanking him off balance, kicking his legs out. Pinning him, I tightened the scarf, choking him. He roared, wings erupting, throwing me back. Pain shot through my hip. He clawed the scarf off. I grabbed the gunman's pistol. Guns rarely stopped creatures, but I needed time. The leader blurred forward, fangs in my shoulder. Pain seared, but I'd baited him. Jamming the gun against his ear, I fired. He reeled, blood pouring. The injured man rose, claws out. I emptied the clip, slowing him. "And him!" the leader yelled at the lizard. It skittered, teeth grazing my arm. Outclassed, I focused my sight on its tattooed ring, seeing tainted magic. Grabbing it burned like molten steel, scorching my core. With the creature's help, I snapped the leash, a shockwave flooring us all. My body felt crushed. My left hand blackened, useless. The creature curled beside me, grateful for freedom. The women were safe behind the counter. Charred marks scarred the store. I shouldn't have survived. The thief and injured man were out. The leader rose, shifting fully lizard. "I'll tear this place apart." A figure stormed in, smashing the leader's face, sending him through a display. The scarf woman sprinted over, silver dagger gleaming, a hunter's weapon. I focused on the newcomer. "Silas?" I croaked. "Elliot? Nora?" He glanced between us. Nora, his handler, was unrecognizable without her polish, still striking. "What a coincidence," we said, startling her. I'd matched Silas's quip. "What are the odds?" I asked. Silas grinned. "I juggle jobs. Monsters are my beat. You here?" "Bad luck." "I wanted a coat," I muttered. The lizard creature gazed up, and I petted it with my good hand, finding it oddly charming. Nora hugged it. "Lizards are adorable," she said. We'd wrecked the store, but stopped the threat. Nora's contacts would secure the creature's future. She reassured the cashier, promising damage coverage and counseling. Silas offered to take my dark magic, easing my pain despite the sting. His leash, a black ring, was stronger than the creature's. Breaking it would end me. "Dinner at my place?" he asked. "Hands sore," I said. "We'll order." His love for Mira was his true leash. The cashier shoved clothes into my arms, jackets, hoodies, free. I thanked her, planning to donate extras. At Silas's, Mira's drawing made me consider babysitting over hunting. Back home, my new jacket was perfect, save for the security tag. My luck was the real monster. My left arm ached, the dark magic gone but healing slow. I was lucky it was still attached. I wondered if Hannah had her prosthetic yet. In Hollow Creek, Nevada, Silas texted a job screenshot insisting we team up. I hesitated. Backup was smart, but his energy was draining. My phone buzzed until I agreed. Hours later, I waited at a trailhead under a grey sky. Creatures were flocking to cities, blending in for easy prey. Forest dwellers were feral or tradition-bound. Whatever waited here could be a shapeshifter or an incomprehensible horror. I wasn't eager. Silas arrived late, blaming babysitter issues. Mira's preschool kept him to nights, but daytime jobs were scarce. He'd been skipping sleep, and Nora's day schedule left him short on help. My jobs didn't help. He waved a cooler bag. Mira packed lunch. He beamed. That was worth the wait. We hiked to the site, Silas chatting about Mira. My arm's pain kept me quiet. We found a ritual clearing. Red chalk with Greek runes around a fire pit, littered with candles and bones. Footprints led into the trees. Silas sat on a log, patting it. "Lunch already?" I asked. He insisted. With daylight left, we ate. He handed me a lopsided sandwich, munching celery. I'd seen him eat raw meat, but processed food made him sick. He offered an apple, but my bad arm dropped it. He peeled it. "I can peel my own," I said. "Does help bruise your ego?" He teased. "Little bit," I joked. Humans obsessing over self-reliance is odd. You're fragile, surviving by teamwork. No one built a skyscraper solo. He handed me the apple, dimples flashing. Monster or not, he was a great dad. He split his face, shoving 2 apples in. Mira would be quirky but grounded. We scoured the site. The Greek mixed with runes humans might mistake for scribbles. I knew little Greek, useless here. "What's this?" Silas asked. "Human work," I said. Not the universal tongue, but close. Some runes match by chance. Humans think spells need blood ink, but clear intent and magic work in any language. I stood, hands in pockets. Silas tested the chalk. "Why the universal tongue then? Some know English." I squinted. He should know this. "A test? It's precise. 1 word, 1 meaning. English is messy. Run. A sprint or a campaign. Magic doesn't guess. Wrong meaning and spells fail or backfire." Silas nodded, maybe clueless. His fights used claws, not spells. Spells focused magic efficiently, saving a creature's life force. "You know a lot for someone not built for this," he said. I shrugged. "Mom hunted. I grew up with creatures, moving, barely in school. Contracting was my only path after she passed." "Your dad?" he asked. "Human, drifter, maybe a trucker, a fling. Mom wanted kids, got me despite health issues, called me her miracle. Life was tough, but not therapy bad." "You need therapy," he said, deadpan. I shoved him, unmoving. "You're prying without sharing." He showed his neck's black ring. "My clan lived in a desert canyon. Humans built a resort, and elders saw easy meals. Hunters wiped us out. I took this leash, drifted, landed with Nora. Guilt hit me. His family was gone, and he was chained to their killers. Humans and creatures shouldn't mix," he said. "Those tourists doomed us. If we keep teaming, we might turn on each other. You know enough for a fight?" His words stung. We'd clashed. Our first meeting, the cave stabbing. Could I take him if he went feral? I glanced at the cooler bag. "What about Mira?" He clenched his fists, staring down. "I'd never hurt her intentionally. I'd rather not exist. My nature, it'll wound her. She might hate me. Until then, I cherish our time." My mom said similar things. Her hunting life wasn't ideal, but she treasured our moments. It's why I didn't resent it, despite missing school. Silas knew his time with Mira was fragile. A job or her learning his nature could end it. "Random, pushing this talk," I said. "Just killing time," he admitted. A bullet cracked the air. Silas's clawed shield blocked it. He bolted, and I drew my rented karambit, sprinting after. Another shot grazed my shoulder, targeting my left arm, assuming dominance. I'd baited it to spare my good side. Silas pinned a cloaked figure, Caleb, in the trees. "You're hit," he noted. "I'll manage. Who's this?" Blood seeped, pain screaming, but I gripped the karambit. "He painted the circle, spilled chicken blood," Silas said, noting stains and feathers. He passed me Caleb's pistol, patting him down. Caleb thrashed. "Get off! I did nothing!" "You messed with magic. Might get a warning, depending on what you summoned," I said. "Go to hell. I won't betray my queen." Humans summoned creatures for worship or romance, risking lives. If he'd called something dangerous, we needed answers. A deity wasn't impossible. Summoning was easy. I moved to press him, but Silas pinned Caleb's wrists, sniffing his neck. Caleb squeaked, flustered. I nearly stopped Silas. Mortifying. "Your queen's lucky," Silas purred. "Nice scent. Shame we didn't meet sooner." I gaped. Silas flirted, charming Caleb. "I won't betray my bride," he stammered. Silas's face split, showing his insectoid maw, teeth like daggers, black eyes like oil. I expected fear, but Caleb blushed, making a strangled sound. "Gross," I muttered. His taste was awful. "We need to know if she's a threat," Silas said, voice rough. He whispered, "Maybe an open arrangement?" Caleb's eager noise confirmed it. Silas let him up, stumbling, but leading us to his summon. I was appalled it worked. Silas flashed a thumbs up. I ignored it. Caleb, revealing short black hair and a patchy goatee, looked average, maybe unlucky in love, summoning a monster mate. She's wild at first, Caleb said, trekking. Not dangerous, just intense. Sweetheart, it's safe, he called. Sweetheart, Silas echoed, grinning with needle teeth. I elbowed him. He needed focus, but I preferred his antics. A thud hit. Silas froze. Sweetheart, Caleb chirped. I turned, jaw dropping. She was stunning, waist up. Raven hair veiled her face, amber eyes glowing. Fangs glinted. Her lower half was a massive centipede, doubling my height. Silk wrappings covered her. 6 extra arms wielded serrated talons. My karambit felt puny. Her screech split the air, jaws unhinging. Silas collapsed, useless. Fear screamed in me, but I shoved us aside as a talon slashed, shredding my jacket's hem. I rolled, dodging strikes. Sweetheart targeted me, ignoring Silas. Caleb pleaded, useless. Her summoning spared him, not us. My blade couldn't dent her. I wouldn't leave Silas, but Caleb could fend for himself. He'd enjoy it. Talons carved saplings. I slid under her, arm throbbing, knowing my karambit wouldn't pierce her chitin. Grabbing Silas, I yanked him up, but a talon arced down. I raised my blade, expecting to be sliced. Miraculously, I wasn't. Pain stabbed my leg, and my hand on Silas burned, searing to the karambit. Our blades clashed, shattering both in a shockwave. A fragment grazed Silas, snapping him out. Sweetheart's talon chunk tore her wrappings, but bounced off. She gasped, covering herself, scuttling away, modesty overriding rage. Help anytime? I snapped. He gave a weak thumbs up. You, I yelled at Caleb. What were you thinking? He looked dreamy. Dangerous? I thought she was flirting. Worried she liked you. A simple room. Table, 2 chairs, pastries, juice. A man greeted me, tie and shirt, no jacket. Grey hair, scarred hands. 4 claw marks split his face, showing teeth, but his eyes were warm. We recounted the job, his soft, accented voice easing tension despite sharp inhales. What's next for Sweetheart and Caleb? I asked. We're discussing options. Sweetheart hasn't shown human aggression. Beyond you, they'll decide. Her choices were slim: return miserable or deal with a hated corporation. How'd Caleb do it? He checked papers. Found the ritual on Nexus, a forum. Humans spread dangerous knowledge. Another group summoned jackal creatures, got eaten. We sent most back. 1 joined us. Caleb used a magic heirloom ring. The jackal summoners used a virgin's blood. My stomach churned. A life lost for monster mates. I skipped the pastries. Creatures and humans shouldn't mix, I muttered. You think? His scarred smile softened my gloom. I've seen good in it. I enjoyed our chat. He nudged the juice. The sugar cut the bitterness. Take time off, he said. 1 question. Why have Sweetheart throw you? The leg was sharp enough. I flushed, grabbing muffins. Thought my weight would drive it deeper. Solid plan. Not saying it wasn't. He hit a laugh. I'm torn. Hope we don't meet again. Meeting him meant danger. We will, I said, snagging pastries. Home, I collapsed. The big payout didn't dent my debt. As sleep took me, Silas texted, Mira wants a wolf spider pet. Advice? Toughen up and get one.